Welcome to Stand Courageous. I'm Tony Perkins, president of the Family Research Council and your host on our journey toward biblical manhood. We're continuing to explore the 5 core roles and God-given responsibilities of what it means to be a biblical man. Once again, coaching us in these key principles are Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin and Dr. Stu Weber. Now, in this session, they will offer inspiration on how you can fulfill the 3rd role of a stand courageous man, that of defender. Let's watch.
Hey guys, Stu and I want to talk to you about another one of the things that a man is supposed to be, and that is you're a defender. Now, you come out of the womb meant to be a warrior. Just keep in mind, as we mentioned in the conference, Exodus 15:3 says, even the Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Therefore, we as men of faith should expect that our role is to be warriors. But in being a warrior, one of the things that we need to understand is that warriors stand against evil. They defend what they hold dear. There's a saying that came out of World War II that said, the soldier does not fight because he hates the enemy in front of him. He fights because he loves what's behind him, meaning his family, his country, his values, his God. And we need to understand that we are the defenders. We are protectors. Let's begin with the family. We have a responsibility to protect our families. No man can leave his family undefended, unprotected. You know, I travel a lot. I'm gone a lot. My wife is at home by herself a lot. But let me tell you, I still have a responsibility to make sure that she's protected. And I looked the other day and she has 5 guns in the bedroom. 5 guns in her bedroom. Yes, we are Second Amendment people. I have a lot of threats against me. Therefore, neither me nor my wife are unprotected. But I have to protect her even when I'm gone. So we need to protect our families. Now here's the other thing, man. I don't ever walk by a situation where somebody that needs to be defended is being abused. It could be a woman. It often is. But it's not just women. It could be a person, a homeless person who has no ability to fight back. It could be a child that is being abused in such a way that it calls for your response and your reaction. Don't walk by that. Don't walk by that and have the attitude that so many men have today that this is just none of my business. No, that doesn't happen. And if you've been to our conference or you've read Man to Man, you know that there's been, at least in my case, several times where I've actually had to step up and actually defend somebody else. You need to do that because that's your role as a defender, but it's not just against physical harm. We have to defend our families against evil. You know, Psalms 94 says, who will take a stand against this evil for me? Who will rise up against these evil doers? That's talking to us as the church, but also as men. We have to stand up to evil, and there's evil in the land. If you can't see that, you're not paying very close attention. You know, the murder of 60 million babies to start with. That's evil. And we have to stand up to it. We have to be the defender that God's called us to be. Now, you don't break the law. I want to be very clear about that. You don't break the law. But you, as a man, you need to find some way to help defend the lives of those unborn babies. Guys, the other way that you need to defend your family, at least, is in what comes into your home. Your cable, your telephones, your television. You need to defend your family from those things. Protect them. Because there is, in fact, at least on the internet today, there's so much evil on the internet. And we as parents sometimes don't pay enough attention to that, and therefore our families, our children, our wives, and even we guys, even we as men of faith are too frequently exposed to things on that internet or on the TV that we don't need to be seeing, we don't need to be involved with, and we need to protect our families. You also have to protect them from what comes in on programs like HBO or Showtime or Netflix. That is a very important part of you being a defender, especially in your home. But you also need to defend those people that you consider your battle buddies. You need to defend them against criticism from other people when it's unjustified. You need to be willing to stand up for them, even when it's not, the popular thing to do. You need to be willing to stand for those people who have stood for you. And one of the ways that you also need to understand that a defender helps to defend those things that they hold dear is through prayer and intercession. We need to be praying for those things that we hold dear. We need to be standing in the gap for those people that we hold dear. And then finally, we need to be protecting of the values that America was founded on. We need to be protecting the Second Amendment. You hear so much today about people wanting to take away our Second Amendment rights. Look, I do not advocate any violation of the laws. But let's don't allow laws to come about that are ultimately going to put us in a situation where we're really going to have to ponder whether we're going to abide by a law that says we have to give up our AR-15, and I don't know what an assault rifle is, so I'm not going to go there, but let's do what we can now by letting our voices be heard. That's part of being a defender. You're defending our constitutional rights. How about people like Jack Phillips out in Denver, Colorado, a baker who would not bake a cake for a same-sex marriage because it violated his constitutional right of freedom of religion. Well, he wound up, ultimately, his case went before the Supreme Court, and he won because the Supreme Court ruled that he had the right to defend his constitutional rights. We need to stand up for our constitutional rights. Within the laws, we need to stand up and be defenders of our constitutional rights. What do you think about what I've said, Stu?
I'm totally there. If there's one word that a man is not to be, it's passive. Yeah. Too many of us want somebody else to do it. That just, that shouldn't be. Now, some guys are more assertive naturally, and some guys are less assertive naturally, but we should all be locking arms together and following the principles of Scripture and defending those in our culture which are fast trying to overwhelm them.
You've been called to be a defender. You've been called to stand up against this evil. And it is evil when people try to take our constitutional rights. It is evil when we kill babies. It is evil when we have so many things happening in our society that is destroying our family structure, that is causing men to be absentee fathers, that is causing men to look at their role as just a sperm donor rather than being a father to the children that they sire. So stand against this evil. Be the defender that God's called you to be.
We can't all do everything, but we can do some things, and God has placed certain burdens on your heart that bother you in this world, and you haven't yet figured out how to deal with it. Don't let everybody else do it. When everybody thinks somebody else is going to do it, you know the old adage, nobody's the only one that ends up doing it.
And let me kind of wrap this up with a story that if you were in our conference or you've read Man to Man, you heard this story, but if you weren't, I want you to understand something, because I think that it is an important message, and that is, in 1993 in Mogadishu, Somalia, during the Black Hawk Down incident, we stayed in that city for 18 hours. 18 hours fighting for what most people don't understand was the bodies of two of our fallen comrades. You see, we were going to defend those bodies at the cost of other deaths and other injuries because there was a principle there. We were defending those bodies, and we were determined that we were going to bring them out because those were our buddies. They were our battle buddies. So hand in hand with the idea of having a battle buddy is the willingness to defend them. And we stayed in that city 18 hours fighting and losing more people and taking more casualties because we were not willing to leave our battle buddies It was our responsibility to defend them, and no man on that battlefield that day was willing to leave that city without bringing those 2 bodies out.
There is no greater love than that a man lay down his life for his friends. I wish our people, I wish our population could understand that. But I'm so grateful there are some men who get it and are willing to stand between us and all that would destroy us and would never leave each other behind. It means the world to me. And in your soul, you want to be that kind of a man. So do it.